So howdy there. I thought that it would be a kind of cool idea to get to know the filmmakers at Snarky Aardvark and the people we cover a little bit better. I spent so much time thinking about how to do this that I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't making videos or anything. So I thought, you're thinking too much. Just throw something out there, right? See if it sticks. Spaghetti to the wall. What better thing to talk about than films? But that's a huge, broad spectrum that we can cover, and I would like to get everyone who's involved in the behind-the-scenes aspect of Snarky Aardvark to say a little something. So I thought, okay, how about influential films? Then I'm like, but I'm not just influenced by films, I'm influenced by art and literature, and there's just architecture. There's so many things that we could cover. So I'm like, okay, it has to be films. Where do we start? I really do want this to be our influences in film. But I'm gonna preface it by saying that if it weren't for the television series Buffy the Vampire Slayer, this probably wouldn't even be happening. That's what taught me how to read TV and to read character and visual storytelling, was Buffy and Joss Whedon. I always say I watch everything through Whedon tinted glasses, so keep that in mind as you're watching. That's not the same for everybody else, obviously, who works on these projects with us. So, okay. So you watch some movies for the acting, you watch some movies for the visual style, you watch some for story, characters, and everybody has a preference. That's why some people love action films. They love the action. Some people love the character interaction. Some people love the way that it visually is, the cinematography of it. Some people just love the musical scores that go along with it, and they collect soundtracks. And for me, above all else, I watch for character. The first movie I'm going to cover, you could argue that it has nothing to do with character building and character arc and story, or it has everything to do with that. Because the first movie is Richard Linklater's Slacker. I watched this movie probably 3 years ago-ish. It was at a time when I wasn't creating a lot of things, and it's one of those movies you watch and you've never seen anything like it, and you can't stop watching. If you haven't seen it, it's basically montage. It's, you jump from character to character, so it's like, you know, this person's walking down the street, and then they cross paths with this person, and now you're with this person, and stuff happens with this person. And, you know, they interact with this person, and they take the story elsewhere. And it's, you never link back, there's nothing cohesive really about it, which is why it's cohesive. They stick with that same montage style. It gives the whole film an illusion of being one shot. You get just a little vignette with each character, and that's why I feel like it is really character driven. They're all so diverse and quirky that, like, if they weren't like that, you would just get so bored and stop watching. You'd be like, what is this jumbled mess? And each character has something to say, or something that influences their world around them, and it's or not. It's interesting too, the way that film came about. They made the entire film on $5,000, and a lot of that money was borrowed from friends and family and not paid back for years, because this film did not go anywhere for a long time. And it's really funny because it's still shown in film festivals, and you go to film school and it's in your film textbook. And I love that. And it's just, that's really inspirational, that you can work with what you have around you. And I mean, they just like stayed up all night. It was this core group of like 3 to 5 people, and they made this film happen. They did something original and different, and Richard Linklater stuck to his vision and was like, no, I need to do this. It was one of those things that he couldn't not do it, and he was going to find a way. And I think that above all else, that just create is really what drives everybody who creates things and strive. What the heck was that? Calm yourself, Iago. It's easy to say that there is no rhyme or reason to the way the movie was put together. It's easy to say that there is no rhyme or reason to the way the movie was put together. And, you know, Richard Linklater himself is like, it was kind of a cluster F, right? I just took Post-it cards, you know, little note cards, and wrote down each character, and then I just put them all on the floor and reorganized the order. And it's like, yeah, but if you didn't put any thought behind it, you wouldn't have taken the time to do that. It reminds me of that scene in Walk the Line with Johnny Cash and his first wife, and she's talking to him about the outfits he chooses to wear and how, oh, you wear all black just by chance, and you sing like you do just by chance, you know. And I feel like there is that strange mix of conscious and subconscious that goes into everything that people do. Just even in your everyday life, you're putting forth a persona and you're choosing that, whether you are conscious of it or not. And I think that's really interesting, and I think that goes with Richard Linklater. He did have this vision in mind, whether it might have seemed really haphazard and cluster-effy at the time. He still came out with Slacker, which has become a very huge influential film to a lot of people. I don't know. It is what it is, right? And I like it too as kind of an art piece. It's kind of an art film in a way. My favorite character is the conspiracy theorist, because I'm a conspiracy theorist a lot of the time. That's a whole nother video. But oh, and I liked how he said about casting that, casting had a lot to do with the characters that were in it. You just start talking to people and you find out what they're into, and oh, you're really into, oh hey, there's a hawk. You're really into hawks flying ahead, so now you have bird watchers, or something like that. It's just, I don't know. Really like the topic of conversation that people have. It's just everyday conversation that you would never let other people overhear. You're just like talking with your friends or with your boyfriend or girlfriend or by yourself, and it's these weird innermost thoughts that nobody really ever hears. It's kind of like looking in a mirror, that movie, because there's so many different people and we all have so many different aspects to our personalities that it's kind of like Slacker is seeing tons of facets of you and your friend's personalities. So the bug in my eye. Eating my eyeball. There's just multiple facets of you and your friend's personalities just up there reflecting back at you, staring you in the face. So next up we'll have Tom Bob with one of his most influential films, and we're just going to keep going with this because it's fun to talk about, and I could go on forever, but I don't even know if this is still recording. It might have cut. So I'm going to go bleach my eye.
Do aardvarks even make a sound?